Look. Calm down. Now, normally, I reserve myself from talking about anything spoiler-related when it comes to expansion launches, or even Day 1 season launches for that matter. But, in this one case exception, I think it's fine to break, or at least bend that rule. What I'm talking about is talking about the Legend Final Mission boss in the campaign for Final Shape. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up is because, as I'm sure most of you know, and definitely people watching this video, the servers were just garbage day 1. They were just awful. A lot of people never got to play the campaign, or got maybe like 1 to 2 missions in, and then, you know, had to go to bed, go to work, whatever. And as a lot of you already know, the raid is on Friday. So basically, a lot of people are going to have 2 days, if that, to prepare for the raid, if they're going to go for it. So, given that information, plus playing the boss fight myself, and then seeing others do it, whether it's solo or with a fire team, and quite a bit of people struggling and not doing a couple of, let's say, optimal things, I thought I was going to make this video to make life easier for some people out there that may have not beaten the final boss yet, and then, you know, get on with the rest of the game before the raid. So that's what this video is. Now, this is probably not a spoiler for a lot of you, but yeah, you confront the witness in the campaign. I think that's been telegraphed pretty well, public information, before you head into the raid on Friday. So, in the final mission, you get to kinda sorta fight the witness and also the subjugators. Mostly the subjugators. We'll talk about it. So in this arena, it is brutal. If you're on a fire team, it's just awful, because if one person on your team makes a mistake more than once, you're dead, you wipe, go back to square one. If you're solo, I imagine it's still brutal, because, you know, obviously if you die once, GG, you restart. In this fight, you're going to need to have a couple of things, and always keep something in mind, otherwise you will die very, very easily. First, let's talk about the arena. So this boss fight, quote-unquote, is going to feature the witness coming out, confronting you, trying to stab you with some magic knives in the air like it's a magician's trick, and then he's going to run away. Now, these knives hurt like a mother effer, especially throughout the boss fight. If he hits you directly with these knives, you're dead. Period. You're just dead. Second, once the witness does flee temporarily, he's going to summon a subjugator on the field with a bunch of trash mobs, mostly those dread flying goblin things. Now, in this particular situation, you have to dodge several things. Number one, the witness is going to be teleporting around the map, left, middle, right, and doing the same knife trick over and over and over. You need to always be aware of where the witness is, because he can easily kill you, even if you just peek for 1 second. The tracking is basically how Blade Barrage is for the Lucian Hive. If it sees you, it's hitting you. That's it, plain and simple. So the idea is, once you're aware where the witness is, left, middle, or right, you get behind a wall, and you listen for the audio cue of the knives hitting the wall in front of you, and then you know you can actually peek and look without instantly dying. The other thing to keep in mind of on the map is going to be a subjugator. The first one is going to be the stasis subjugator. So essentially, he's going to try to make stasis crystals around the arena to either slow you or shatter you. If he shatters you, which can hit around corners and through walls sometimes, you're dead. Period. You're just dead. And if he just slows you, that won't kill you, but if it slows you long enough, the witness might kill you with the blades. So your positioning and your awareness is very important here. I'd recommend to just keep staying in the back half of the arena, at least for the first half of this boss fight, just to maximize the amount of range distance you have between the witness and the subjugator, so you just don't get one-hit KO'd very easily. Now, while all this is going on, you will have Grims flying around you in the arena as well, and you want to deal with these guys as fast as you can, because while they're not hard to kill, they can become annoying if you just keep them up the entire time. Also, they're a great way to make ores of power on the floor via your siphon mods, which will help you get your weapon surges off and also get your super back once you've used it, which you should in this next part. The next part is downing the subjugator's health to 50% before it goes immune. Now, the best way to do this, outside of just using an offensive super, so if you're like Hunter, Golden Gun, for example, is actually going to be, in my opinion, Leviathan's Breath. The reason why Leviathan's Breath is perfect for this is because if you keep landing levy shots on the subjugator, it will permanently stun lock that subjugator. So you will never have to worry about them spamming stasis crystals or strand tangles or grapples at you the entire time later in the fight. You can just keep perma-staggering them until they reach 50% health, or you can just buy time until you get your super back. My personal recommendation would be using half your levy's ammo on the first subjugator and then saving the rest on the second subjugator, unless you get a heavy ammo break to drop on the floor, and then fill the rest in with an offensive super. Now, once you get the subjugator to 50% health, the next part of the boss fight starts, which is going to be cleansing yourself. You need to find one of those darkness nuts that you find in Root of Nightmares, and then shoot it to get protection from the darkness. After you do that, there will be a caged part of the arena opening up on the left-hand side, which you can go inside to and get the relic from Vault of Glass to protect you. Once you pick up this relic, you go back to the middle of the arena, charge your super, and then when you're ready, hit the subjugator with the super to crack its shield. Once you have cracked the shield for the subjugator, the witness will then attempt to wipe the map with your fire team and end the encounter. To counteract this, you have to go to the back arena of the map, the middle section specifically. There will be a crack on the floor, the same cracks you've seen throughout the entire campaign. You will need to stand on this crack and then activate your protection bubble with your relic on the arena, and this will protect you and any fire team members that you have from the witness wiping you. Otherwise, if you try to do this anywhere else on the map, you don't have an unlimited shield, it will eventually run out, and then the witness will kill you. The second thing you need to keep in mind while doing this protection portion is, if you angle it right, your fire team can shoot the subjugator while you're blocking with the relic and protecting the fire team, so essentially you can kill the subjugator during this wipe phase where the witness won't be teleporting around the arena and trying to kill you, but instead you're just standing in one place and shooting the subjugator while the witness is doing basically nothing. Once you survive the wipe mechanic, the first relic will despawn and a new one will spawn in, assuming the subjugator has been killed. This will be a sword relic. Now this time around, somebody will pick up this relic and go on the offensive. There'll be a darkness node by the statues in the middle of the arena that you can go ahead and hit with the sword, and then this will give you a prompt to interact with, which will teleport you inside of the witness's mind, I guess? Inside here, you get a bunch of lore dump and exposition about the story and all that good stuff, and then eventually the statues will say, destroy us, and, well, you do just that. You slam your sword and destroy one statue while inside this space, and when you do, the witness's shield will take damage and he'll scream like he's a 12-year-old. You will then get teleported back out into the middle of the arena, and the entire encounter will restart. Now, this time around, it's a little bit different. Those darkness nodes that I mentioned earlier that you shoot like when in Ron, now they're going to be all around the arena and you'll be on a timer. You'll need to juggle these nodes and make sure that your timer never runs out, because if it does and the witness does his wipe mechanic, the same thing with the tornado stuff, well, you die. And keep in mind that if you shoot one node and the rest of your fire team was not in that node, you will get the timer, but they don't, which will potentially get them killed, and if they die and you don't have any more tokens, that's a wipe, and you go back to the beginning. So if you're solo, obviously you can just time it the way you want, and you always get the timer on your screen and never run out. If you're with a fire team, you need to make sure you coordinate your entire team to one single node, and then shoot it when everybody is inside that node. This time around, the subjugator is going to be a strand type, and there will be more Grim Dread flying around with a couple of scions that may or may not be prismatic. Sometimes we have prismatic, other times they weren't. Not really sure what's up with that, but if they are, obviously you need to use the prismatic mechanic to damage them and break their shields, and then kill them like normal. Now again, the same thing applies to the subjugator here. Use your Levy's Breath to just permanently stun lock him whenever you can. Obviously, make sure you're not peeking too long so you don't get stabbed by the witness or strand grappled by the subjugator, and then eventually you just whittle him down to 50% health, and the same thing will repeat as the first fight, which in this case will be the Vogue relic respawning, but it'll be on the right side this time instead of the left. The same thing will apply. You pick up the relic, you go back to middle, you stand by the crack in the ground, you break the subjugator's shield, and then the witness will try to wipe you once again. Again, put up the relic shield to protect your team, and then the rest of your fire team, if you're not solo, can shoot the strand subjugator to kill him. Once you do, the sword spawns into the map, and you repeat the process. You go back into the vision of the witness once again. This time, there'll be 2 statues instead of 3. Again, you get some lore, and then it'll say, destroy us. And then you destroy another statue, break the witness's shield some more, and then fly back out into the arena. And once you come back, all hell has broken loose. There's enemies all over the map. There's still nodes on the map as well. There's subjugators that seem to have come back, but with a little bit of health this time, where you can just kill them or ignore them if you like, up to you. Eventually, you'll repeat the same process where there will be a sword in the middle of the arena. You pick up the sword, you go slam the node again, get back into that zone. Finally, one more lore dump, and then you can destroy the third and final statue of the witness, and then the shield will be broken, and you'll do a little bit of damage to the witness as well. And basically, that's it. It sets up the fight in the raid on Friday, so essentially, you just beat the campaign there, and then a cutscene will play to show you what happens next. I'm not going to spoil that, because, well, if you haven't beaten the campaign, obviously you haven't seen the ending, so I'll just leave it to that on your own. Anyways, that is my brief guide on this boss fight without going into too much detail with spoilers and stuff. But essentially, I just saw some people struggling with it, so I thought I'd put out a quick guide to try to help some people get through this boss fight. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've slept like 2 hours since Final Shape launched, so I should probably go close my eyes for a little bit. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video or this has helped you, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow. It's much appreciated. And we're almost at 40K. Also, I'll have stuff for the new Goldie Sniper and the Galahorn sword out soon, hopefully on the channel as well, so stay tuned for that. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can also leave a like and or comment below. If you don't know what to comment, you can simply leave Salvation's Edge as the comment to get ready for the raid on Friday. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.